Well, testing something out new today. We're going to try the Honda 2.3 on the Grumman 17. So it's mounted with aluminum outboard mount. I bought it at the store for $50. See, it doesn't have a brand name on it. Test location is the St. Lawrence River. We've got some wind, about 25 kilometers an hour from the west, and we got current coming the same way. So testing into the wind and with the wind will give us very different results. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run an app called Strava and see what kind of speeds I get in both directions. I'll test it at 25%, 50%, and if it's not too squirrely, 100%. It might be too much power at 100%. Okay, this first test, I thought the wind was about 25 kilometers per hour. It was probably closer to 35 kilometers per hour or 20 miles per hour. And the test didn't work in these conditions. What happened was with my weight in the back of the boat and the motor's weight in the back of the boat and the drag from the motor itself, I couldn't get the bow to turn into the wind. I tried everything I could think of, short of moving forward, which I couldn't do without remounting the motor. So I tried zigzagging, getting some speed downwind, and then turning it upwind, and that didn't work. The next thing I tried was, after doing several zigzags, is I tried to use my paddle to assist in the turn, do a paddle assisted turn, but that didn't work either. So this first test on this windy day of 20 mile per hour, 35 kilometer an hour winds, it was not effective. So that was it was time to move on. I gave up on this day and started again fresh the next day after making a couple of modifications, including adding weight to the bow and using a lee board that I use for sailing the canoe, which gives some lateral resistance up further forward on the boat. What was interesting about this test is I got blown about a mile down river, down the coast of the St. Lawrence, and I couldn't get upwind with the motor, but I was very easily able to paddle back to my starting point in these conditions by simply moving to the center seat to get the weight forward so the bow wasn't blowing downwind, and I was able to paddle back in a little bit more than 20 minutes. So in these windy conditions, at least for me on this test, paddling was more effective than the gas outboard. Alright, that didn't work at all. So what it was I couldn't steer. There's too much weight in the stern, so the bow was high. And I've got my outriggers are inflatables, so they provide windage, and it's windy. And so everything I tried, the wind blew back downwind, and I couldn't steer, so I blew about a mile down the coast, landed at this little beach. Now I'm about to implement plan B. So I've gotten a Coleman cooler. I'm going to fill it with I'm going to hold about 45 pounds of water, put it right up in the bow. And I got my sailing lee board. And we'll see if I can get upwind like that. Alright, try this again. So, 45 pounds of river water in the cooler. got my lee board, and I've also got a kayak paddle, so if I need to paddle, I can move forward to one of the forward seats and paddle a little easier. Give this a try. All right, here I go again. Much lighter winds today. That was that first test with 20 knot winds was unsuccessful, but I think I should be able to control it in this wind. So again, I've filled the cooler up with seawater, and I've got the lee board on now. I think it'll handle a lot better. We'll see. All right, test one, 25% against the current. Speed 3.8 kilometers per hour. 4.4 kilometers per hour. All right, now I'm going to crank it up to 50% throttle. Speed 5.7 kilometers. All right, I'm gonna take it up to 75%, but I think for this next one, I'm gonna get lower in the boat. That's it. The motor mount won't take 75%. It's bending. So 50% is the top speed. 6.6 kilometers per hour. That's pretty good. That's it. The motor mount won't take 75%. It's bending. So 50% is the top speed. So what I did for our real world test is 4 of us, 2 adults and 2 children, did a 12-kilometer loop at a place called Long Sault in Ontario. So what we did was we paddled for the first 6 or 7 kilometers down to a place called Wales Island, and then once we were down, we used the motor to motor back upriver against the current, and so I motored the canoe and towed the 2 kayaks back upriver. So for the towing portion of the test, everything went pretty smoothly. The canoe easily towed the 2 kayaks. We got upriver against the current and against a bit of wind fairly quickly. I towed at about 25% throttle, and everybody got back to the campsite well rested. So the towing portion I was happy with. So the testing, all in all, went pretty well. I did 2 days of just testing on the water in an empty boat, and then the final day we did 6 or 7 kilometers of paddling with the outboard on the side mount, followed by about a 6-kilometer tow upriver against the current and against a bit of wind as well. And for towing, it was nice. I'm not sure that I'll repeat the experiment though. I'm not sure that the outboard is worth the effort with the canoe.